My selfish husband begged me to quit my job so I could care for bedridden Mill at home, and I agreed. But then he had the audacity to restrict me to a $100 allowance per month, so I pack my bags and leave. With this document, now he's blowing up my phone because I can ruin his life with just one move. I, 30 female, need your help to understand if I'm being an idiot and a horrible person. I would go talk to my friends and family, but I'm a little ashamed to reach out to them right now. I will explain the reasons later. For now, I just want you to know that I don't have anyone to talk to right now. So, it will be really helpful if you can guide me. I left my husband Dave, 34, male, last week. We had dated for 2 years and were married for 4. I had some really good reasons to leave that marriage. Dave had been financially and emotionally abusing me for the past year. He has completely taken over my finances after he made me leave my job. I know you must be thinking about how he made me leave my job. Well, you will need some background for that. My mother-in-law, Samantha, 66 female, had been suddenly diagnosed with a terminal illness. Please don't ask me what it was, just know that in the course of only 2 months, she was completely paralyzed and bedridden. Samantha had an irrational fear of doctors and hospitals, which is why she didn't seek medical advice about her health issues until it was too late. When her kids finally forced her to go see a doctor, we found out that her illness had gotten to the worst point possible. Maybe if she had seen a doctor sooner, she may have had a few more years to live. The diagnosis and prognosis were extremely hard on the entire family. My husband was devastated, and so was my brother-in-law, Matt, 13 male, and sister-in-law, Bianca, 25 female. Everyone had a hard time coping with the diagnosis and the fact that Samantha wouldn't be around for long. Samantha's health rapidly declined, and after her total paralysis, she couldn't live alone anymore. That's when my husband stepped in and offered to take care of my mother-in-law. Since she couldn't stay alone anymore, Dave told her that she can come stay with us. I didn't have a problem with this because I love my mother-in-law, but I was pretty annoyed that he didn't even consult me before promising to talk to his mother. When we had a chance to talk about this later, Dave told me that he was scared and overwhelmed, so he acted impulsively. He admitted that he should have consulted me and apologized for not doing it. Then he dropped a bombshell on me. He told me that he wanted me to take care of Samantha full-time. I was a little taken aback because it was a big ask. Dave then went on a rant about how he didn't want his mother to spend her last days in a hospital or a hospice. He wanted Samantha to be surrounded by family as she lived her last days. He also reminded me about Samantha's paranoia with doctors and nurses, so I understood where he was coming from. I could see that my husband was completely down in the dumps with the situation and desperately needed my help, but taking care of Samantha would require me to quit my job. I know that I will get some flack for this, but I ended up doing what my husband wanted. Dave wanted me to quit my job because he used to make significantly more than me. That's why I was the one who needed to quit and stay at home. We couldn't hire help for Samantha because of her paranoia, so I took over all her care. Everything was fine in the beginning and I actually enjoyed staying at home. Samantha had always treated me like a daughter, so I had no problem being around her all the time. She's a very sweet lady and doesn't cause any problems. She was just content living with her son and daughter-in-law for her last days. Bianca and Matt occasionally visited but couldn't stay long due to work. They did chip in for her care and paid the majority of her hospital bills. Meanwhile, I took over Samantha's care and even became responsible for taking her to the hospital for her checkups and treatments. That was a big hassle given her extreme fear of hospitals. Anyway, like I said, I didn't mind because I actually loved her. The problem was that Dave had started to change after I quit my job. He had suddenly become obsessed with saving money and slowly started to limit my spending. Since we had joint accounts, he could see all the transactions I made. Now listen, I'm not a shopaholic or anything, but I like to treat myself at times with the occasional takeout and shopping. Again, I had my own money, but Dave didn't see it that way. He kept arguing with me about my spending and kept saying that I needed to stop getting stuff for myself since I don't have an income anymore. That one has hurt, but what hurt me more was when he pulled all our money out of the joint account and put it into his personal account. I really should have left at that point. It's just that I was mentally drained from taking care of Samantha while also filing with my husband over money. All my savings were in that joint account, so I literally didn't have a cent on myself anymore. After numerous fights, my husband told me that he would only give me a monthly allowance and not more. His argument was that he was the breadwinner, so he would have total control over our finances. I had resigned myself to this new system at first because I felt like I had no choice, but Dave took complete advantage of it. He started off by giving me $1,000 a month for personal expenses while he paid all the bills and utilities himself. I was a little shocked because I definitely didn't deserve such a small allowance when I had a lot of money in the old joint account, but no amount of argument made Dave give up his stance on things. Eventually, Dave kept decreasing the monthly allowance by $100 every month until he started to give me just $100 as an allowance. At that point, it had been a year and I was experiencing caregiver burnout with Samantha. I didn't have the energy to fight with my husband while giving Samantha my full attention. I wasn't going to leave her when she was so close to death either, so I shut my mouth and stayed. I finally left my husband 2 days after Samantha's funeral. Here is where the problem comes in. Before I left the house, I made sure to take Samantha's will with me. Why did I do it? Because I had strong suspicions that Dave had been lying about the inheritance. Dave had told Bianca and Matt that Samantha left everything to him. He was the executor of her will, so only he knew what the will contained. Bianca and Matt had taken his word for it, but I wasn't so sure. I didn't trust my husband anymore. I knew for a fact that Samantha didn't just leave everything to Dave, so I went looking for a will before I left. I found it and saw that Samantha had left Bianca and Matt a part of her estate. What was more surprising was that she also left me something in her will. I can't say for sure how much money I'm entitled to, but I do know that I should be given some money from her estate and some of her jewelry. I didn't know any of this before because my husband never revealed all this to me or to his siblings. He has been planning to take over everything and not give us a cent. He already had full control over our finances, so it wouldn't be difficult for him to take away my inheritance without me knowing. After I left, Dave blew up my phone with texts and calls. He had been pretty angry at me for leaving and simply couldn't understand why I wanted to get away. When I reminded him about his financial abuse, he started to call me a money-hungry woman, among other things. That's when I laughed at him and called him money-hungry because he was the one who stole everyone's inheritance. Dave had no idea what I had done, but now he does. Since then he has been harassing me non-stop. He's going from pleading with me not to expose him to getting mad and calling me a greedy gold digger. He keeps telling me how I have no right to get involved in his family matters and I don't deserve to get a cent from his mother's estate, especially since I'm leaving him. I thought that I was in the right, but now I'm second-guessing myself. He is sort of right that this is a family matter and I shouldn't get involved. There's also the fact that I'm not entitled to a share of Samantha's inheritance since I am not her child. But she wanted me to have something and I think it's unfair how Dave is taking advantage of everyone. What do you guys think about it? AITA, edit? Some of you have been questioning me why Bianca and Matt didn't investigate the wheel situation or press for more information. I can't say for sure how Dave convinced them that Samantha had left them nothing. I do have a theory though. Dave has always been the golden child in his mom's eyes because he was a mama's boy. You can tell that Dave refused to sever the umbilical cord with his mother and tried his best to stick as close to her as possible. While Samantha wasn't a horrible mother or mother-in-law, she did show signs of being extra caring towards Dave. Dave was the child who didn't move away and became completely independent. I guess she was grateful for that. Bianca and Matt hadn't been happy about this favoritism and it hurt them. So they were quick to believe that Samantha hadn't left them anything. Their anger stemmed from betrayal, and what Dave said basically made them believe that Samantha really didn't care about them. As I said, they have very demanding jobs and can't really afford to waste time going against their brother over a will. They very much believe that their mother had betrayed them and let them down. I feel sad knowing that Samantha had tried to be fair to everyone before she died but still ended up being painted as the villain. She really shouldn't have made Dave the executor of her will, but it made sense that she did. After all, she trusted Dave with her life. A lot of you have been bashing me for staying with Dave for as long as I did. I don't know what to tell you guys. Have you heard of the boiling frog syndrome? It was something like that. Dave tightened the purse strings very slowly. He didn't do it all at once. I had no idea that he could be so evil and manipulative. By the time he had started to completely control the finances, there was nothing I could do. I couldn't just go to the cops and complain about the money he withdrew from our joint account. His name was on the account, so he had full rights to withdraw the money. I am well aware of the fact that I shouldn't have put everything into a joint account. I was stupid and didn't know any better. Like Samantha, I trusted my husband way too much. Now I know how badly I had messed things up for myself. Believe me, I'm ashamed of trying to stick it out and hope for things to improve. I should have opened my eyes sooner and got the hell out of that marriage. I am trying to rectify my mistakes, so please be a little understanding. Update 1. Wow, this post blew up more than I had expected. I have received so many comments that my post got locked. That's why I couldn't reply to your comments. Sorry about that. I received an overwhelming amount of support and tough love in my last post. I can assure you that your words really got through my fix goal. I got your messages loud and clear. I did nothing wrong and definitely should go after what I'm entitled to. And that's what I'm going to do. I didn't block my husband and let him fill up my inbox with his stupid text. Don't worry. I'm not listening to his demands and pleas. I'm just keeping it as evidence in case I need it for the future. I had been toying with the idea of extorting money from Dave in exchange for the will, but that would make me no better than him. I can't go to a lawyer because, well, I have no money at all. I just saved $500, which won't even feed me till I get my next paycheck. There have been a lot of comments on why I didn't reach out to my friends and family after leaving Dave. Well, I'm ashamed to say that I drifted away from them a long time ago. My family members weren't thrilled with the idea of me leaving my job and becoming Samantha's caregiver. They doubled down on their stance once they heard about the allowance thing that Dave had started. Most of my friends had started to tell me to get out of the marriage at that point, but I was too dumb to listen to reason. Even after everything he told me back then, I loved Dave and made excuses for his behavior. I kept telling them that he was just overwhelmed and made some stupid decisions. I really want to smack myself in the head for that one. I defended my husband and didn't believe my friends and family when they told me that he was becoming financially abusive. They kept pressuring me to do something, so I started blocking and distancing myself from them one by one. I'm deeply ashamed of what I did. They only wanted the best for me and knew what was coming, but I trusted my husband so much that I cut off the people who were closest to me. They tried to reach out by that point and I didn't have the time and energy to talk or hang out with them. I was completely drowning while caring for Samantha and taking care of the house. Dave wouldn't even hire a maid or a cook and called me lazy when I suggested it. I can't begin to tell you how many nights I've cried myself to sleep while sleeping beside my mother-in-law. By the time Samantha died, Dave and I weren't even sleeping in the same bed. Yes, things were that bad. I don't know if I should have done things differently. I definitely wouldn't have abandoned Samantha, but maybe it would have been better for me if I had left. I was so effing stupid. It's not even like you guys are the first ones who pointed this out to me. My family and friends have been trying to tell me for months, but I started to get annoyed at them. Now I'm down in the dumps with no one on my side. I know that my husband wants me to come back home, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't love me anymore. Even if he does love me, it doesn't excuse his abuse. I really need help or some kind of support, so I need to talk to my family and friends again. Your comments have kind of given me the courage to do it. I'll be calling my mother first thing tomorrow morning. It's going to be embarrassing and humiliating for me, but I guess I deserve this for not listening to them. I'm tempted to call him right now, but it's close to 2 a.m. here, so that wouldn't be very wise. Wish me luck for tomorrow because I'm going to need it. Update 2. I did it, guys. I called my family and laid myself bare to them. I had blocked them because they kept telling me to get away from Dave, but yesterday I unblocked them and made the call that I have been dreading for so long. Guys, I had expected my parents to act all cold and offended. I shouldn't deserve anything other than their anger, but my family is the best. My mother immediately picked up my call and sounded so relieved when I spoke to her. She didn't even ask me about Dave or anything. She just wanted to know if I was doing well. She said that she and my father were worried about me since I hadn't contacted them in so long. They knew that I blocked their numbers and they didn't harass me anymore because I wanted space. No. It was more like I demanded space from them. They thought that pushing my boundaries too much would make me madder at them, so they didn't reach out to me on their own. Just hearing how much my parents loved and respected me absolutely broke me inside. I had a full-on mental breakdown on the phone while I told them the whole story in a word vomit. It wasn't pretty and I wasn't strong enough to control my emotions. I was ugly crying on the phone while telling them what happened. When I was done, my mother and father comforted me as best as possible. My dad immediately told me that I needed to open a new bank account so that he could send me money. They live a little far away but have decided to come to me as fast as possible. They weren't mad at me at all. They didn't accuse me of abandoning them. They simply listened and started to plan how they could reach at the earliest. My father got off the phone and started booking flights while my mother stayed on till I had stopped crying and had a better hold over my emotions. She scolded me for being hesitant about reaching out and told me that no matter what, they would always be there for me. Another mini breakdown later, I got off the phone with my mom as well. I just felt so much lighter after making the call. Knowing that my parents didn't hate me filled me with both happiness and sadness. Then something happened and I wasn't expecting it at all. About an hour after I got off the phone with my mom, my inbox started to get flooded with text and voicemails. At first, I thought it was Dave who hadn't really stopped harassing me on the phone. But when I opened those texts, I saw that my siblings, cousins, and friends had all left me texts. I had unblocked everyone when I unblocked my parents. I had expected their messages to be filled with venom, but once again, I was proven wrong. Everyone was texting me about how they knew what happened and wanted me to reach out to them when I felt comfortable. They wrote really supportive things and told me that no one was mad at them. They were just all very worried about me. My best friend literally said that she had booked flights and asked which hotel I was staying in. I am guessing that my mother had called them all and gave them updates. It made me so grateful to know that none of them hated me. I couldn't update yesterday because I was busy calling everyone who left a message. I owed it to them to clear the air and ask for forgiveness before I did anything else. I have received some angry DMs from my last update because I didn't mention contacting Bianca and Matt. Some of you really assumed that I wouldn't tell them about their rightful inheritance. I already told you that I have come to my senses and know what will be the right thing to do. I just needed some time to get my own situation under control before attempting to talk to them. Last night in between calls, I left them messages and told them to call me back as soon as possible. They are super busy, so they may not be available till the weekend. I guess I can wait 3 more days, but I told them that it's urgent. I'm waiting for them to schedule a video conference, as I had mentioned in my messages. Let's pray that they arrange something soon and we can talk about this inheritance issue before Dave does something stupid again. He doesn't know which hotel I'm in, so that's a relief. I was a little worried about hotel bills, but Dad sent me money after I opened an account at the bank today. My siblings all sent me some too, probably after getting my banking information from Dad. I am just so lucky to have them in my life. I will never be stupid enough to distance myself from them again. I have learned my lesson. So that's all I got for you guys at this moment. I will come back with an update when something happens. Update 3. Hi, guys. I didn't think I would be coming back for an update so soon. I had fully expected Bianca and Matt to be unavailable for the 3 days, but they arranged a video call just a day later. Apparently, Dave had called them both and asked some shady questions about me. I guess he was trying to see if I had reached out to them. His behavior really raised some red flags, so Bianca and Matt called me back as soon as possible because they were a little worried about what was going on. It warmed my heart to know that even they cared enough to be concerned about me. Anyway, I didn't waste any time in telling them what had happened. I told them how Dave had been lying about Samantha's will and how he was harassing me not to tell them the truth. They were really angry at Dave and cursed him to the moon and back. Then they asked me why I had left and what was going on. I didn't hide anything from them and told them how Dave had been abusing me for the past year. They were shocked to hear the whole story and then started to get really angry. Bianca then asked me if we had hired a cook and a maid for Samantha's care. I told them that Dave wouldn't allow me to since he thought it was a waste of money. I told them how I did everything for Samantha until the very end. That's when Bianca and Matt told me something that absolutely blew my mind. Dave had been lying to them about some other things as well. He had been telling them that we had a professional carer for Samantha and even a cook who prepared her special meals. Apparently Bianca and Matt had been giving Dave money for this imaginary cook and caregiver. They had no idea that I was the one who did everything. Samantha had been unable to even eat on her own in the 3 that she was alive. She had to be fed and all her food was prepared specially for her. Bianca and Matt were told that we had hired someone to do this since it was too much work for me, but Dave had been lying for them. Samantha didn't have the energy to talk for long, so never inquired about these services. They had been fooled by my evil husband into paying for services that didn't exist. I don't know what came over me, but I immediately became very angry. I cursed my husband out as well, and the 3 of us had a serious dissing session. When we had calmed down a little, we all decided that we would confront Dave and sue him for the inheritance if he didn't give it up. I already have money for lawyers while Bianca and Matt are loaded enough not to look for spare money. So, we are looking for lawyers who would fight for us. Bianca actually knows a few lawyers due to her profession, so she is going to make arrangements for all 3 of us. She also recommended a divorce lawyer in my city who would give me a nice discount on her reference. I have already set up an appointment with my new divorce lawyer and will be filing for divorce very soon. I haven't got any angry calls from Dave yet, so I'm assuming that Bianca and Matt haven't confronted him yet. I know for sure that he will blow up once he gets wind of the situation, so I'm staying vigilant. Thankfully, my mom and dad will be here tomorrow, so I am feeling a little more secure. My best friend is already here and is staying in my hotel room. I'll come back with an update when there is some more progress. Update 4. Hello guys! It's been a really long time since my last update. Before you guys really trash me in the comments, let me sincerely apologize for not making an update sooner. I know it's been 7 months, but I have been really busy with life. The smart ones would know that things got really bad when Dave realized I talked to his siblings. Amidst the lawsuit, divorce and some more fun stuff, I really didn't have the time or the mental headspace to make an update. Last night, my best friend was joking about my post on Reddit, and that's when I remembered that I forgot to make an update here. This is going to be my final update, so I will tell you guys everything in brief. After my last update, I filed for divorce and talked to a lawyer about the inheritance lawsuit. I coordinated with Bianca and Matt so that the 3 of us could hit Dave with 3 lawsuits all in one day. We wanted to overwhelm him and leave him very little space to think. He didn't deserve peace and cooperation. Anyway, as predicted, Dave went absolutely crazy after he was hit by 3 lawsuits and a divorce. He started to leave the nastiest texts and voicemails that I saved for court. He somehow found out where I was staying and showed up at the hotel to confront me. Thankfully, the hotel didn't allow him to know my room number and kicked him out when he started to yell at the woman at the front desk. Dave tried his best to get in touch with me, but after a week he realized that he was in deep trouble. Now, this part might be a little anticlimactic for you guys because Dave finally agreed to meet with lawyers and settle out of court. He met with me, Bianca and Matt together. During this meeting, Dave finally revealed why he had been scamming his siblings and controlling me financially. Well, some of you have called it. He had developed a gambling addiction. He lost all of our savings but simply couldn't stop. He had very little money left, even after he stole our inheritance. This man who loved his mother so much actually ended up pawning off her jewelry to keep his addiction going. We literally couldn't believe what he was saying. He wasn't lying because his lawyer confirmed it all for us. I am still extremely disgusted by his actions. Dave seemed sorry and begged all 3 of us for forgiveness. He was crying as he pleaded with me not to divorce him. I admit, I just laughed at him and said, hell no. I won't go into how he had prophetically tried to change my mind over the last few months. The divorce happened and I am in the process of getting all of my inheritance. Our lawyers set up a payment plan, and Dave is paying it to avoid going to court. He had to sell his house and his car to make payments. Right now, he is miserable and broke and still occasionally begs me to take him back. As for me, I have moved to my parents' city to start afresh. I have nothing that ties me to my previous home anymore, so I moved and found a place near my parents. I've also secured a decent job here and I'm happy to be back at work. Life is really looking up for me right now, and I hope the future will be much brighter than my past. For now, I'm happy and content being close to my parents and reconnecting with people.